Hello and welcome to Weekend Projects, a Make Magazine video podcast. I'm Bre Pettis and every week I bring you a project that you can make over the weekend. This weekend, I'm going to teach you how to make cards for the holidays, 3 different ways. We're going to make woodblock prints, we're going to mess around with aluminum, and then we're going to go ahead and paint with light in the air and long exposures. Okay, let's get started with woodblock prints. To do that, we need very sharp knives. Now, in the old days, woodblock prints were made with wood blocks, but now you can get wood with linoleum on top of it, and you don't have to worry about cutting against grain of the wood. And this is really nice. It still requires really sharp tools, though. Now, I'm using carving tools from when I used to carve puppets. You can actually buy carving tools that are a little smaller and a little more appropriate for wood blocks, but I had these around, so I thought I'd use them and sharpen them up. Now, what I've done is I've got a Japanese sharpening stone here that I've soaked in water a bit because it requires being wet. And you take this and you go ahead and you take it and you kind of like push against it. Now the idea is to go ahead and sharpen it up. You don't have to actually, if yours has been sharpened recently, you shouldn't have to sharpen it very much. I do it on the rough side first, which is 800 grit. And then I'm going to switch over and flip it over and do it on the 4,000 grit side. This is really, really smooth and it gets it really, really sharp. Then it's time to use the strop. The strop is just leather. It's leather on a board, and you just take some Yellowstone, which is something that helps things get sharper, and you go ahead and you just sprinkle a little bit of shavings on there. This helps it gets really sharp. This takes the edge and makes it go from a really sharp edge to a razor sharp edge. Then you take your tool and you don't push forward now on the strop, you pull back, and this makes it just super duper sharp. Okay, now I've got my tool all sharpened up. I'm ready to go ahead and draw my design on here and start carving it out. I've got it all carved up and it's ready to print. I've got my roller here and some ink, and I've got it all spread out. I want to do this so that the ink gets all over the brayer here. And now I'm going to go ahead and put it right here on the wood block. After making one, I made another 10 and they turned out great. I can't wait to send these off to people I care about. Next up, aluminum relief cards. To make this card, you just need some cardboard. I'm using chipboard because I had that left over from making a paper turkey, some white glue, and aluminum foil. Then you take the white glue and you go ahead and you make a design, making a really thick bead on the cardboard. It's a good idea to fill up all the space, so add lots of little details and even just dots so that the whole space is filled up. That'll make your final product look much better. Then you just have to wait for the glue to dry. This usually takes overnight. So I got impatient and I ended up putting this in the oven so that it would dry faster, and I would like to be the first one to say that that was a bad idea. It started to burn and that could have been a fire hazard. I'm glad I caught it before it caught on fire, set off the fire alarms, and brought the fire trucks. Okay, now what you do is you take your dried piece of cardboard with the glue your glue design all on it, and you take some aluminum foil and you put it down right on the aluminum foil and you fold the aluminum foil over it. Here you can see I've taped this all up, and now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to smoosh on it and make it all smushy so that all the places where there's glue, you can now see it and it'll be like raised up. It's going to be like a relief pattern. Now you go ahead and you add a bunch of black ink and then you rub it off with some paper towels to get this really cool. So now it looks really cool. Now here's one with the drill and it says "Make" at the bottom, and here's one that's more pirate themed. Okay, on to the next card project. For the last card in this series, I wanted to write in the air with light. I'd seen this before and I really wanted to try it, but I didn't know how, so I called up my friend Sparky and we went out into the night to take some long exposure photographs with light. This turned out great. I went ahead and I took this one and I made a little holiday card for Yarmouth, the pirate holiday. It was really fun. Now, let's take a look at some of the settings you're going to need for your camera to do this. No matter what camera you use, you're going to need to have a tripod so that the camera can stay steady on it and not move around. Now, if you're using a camera like this old K1000, you're going to want to set it to the B setting, which means that when you press the button, it opens up the shutter, and when you let go, it closes it. You'll want to count the amount of time that you do that. And then you also want to make sure you've got the f-stop set to the highest number. That actually means that it's the smallest hole, so that just a little bit of light can get in there and you can have the shutter open for longer. Now, if you're using a digital camera, you're going to want to go ahead and go into the settings and go into the part where the flash settings, and you want to have it do a second curtain flash. What that means is that the shutter is going to open up. You're going to be able to do all your moving around with your flashlight and stuff and make the light draw whatever you want in the air. And then right before the shutter closes, it's going to fire off a flash. That means that there'll be enough light for you to be able to get caught on film, because otherwise you'd just be a blur because you're moving around the whole time. It's a really cool effect. Okay, go out there, make some really cool, makerly, awesome, excellent photos with light in the air, draw with light in the air. I'm looking forward to seeing them. I'm Bre Pettis for Make magazine. Go out there, have some fun, have a great weekend.